You have signed hundreds of contracts in your life. Let's say app terms, job offers, SaaS subscriptions, and you have read almost none of them. I can bet. But don't feel bad, nobody actually does. The average terms of service takes 17 minutes to read. The average person spends about 7 seconds before clicking I agree. But buried in that fine print, clauses that let the company change the rules anytime. And by clicking once, you have already agreed to the next version. Clauses that quietly waive your right to sue. Clauses that hand over anything you build on weekends to your employer. These aren't hypocriticals. Companies have enforced every one of them. Today, we are building a tool to catch them semantically before you sign. A legal clause risk scanner powered by Qdrant. You paste in any contract clause, it finds semantically similar language from a database of unknown predatory clauses and returns a similarity score, let's say, a plain English translation, and a real case where this kind of clause can cause a real damage. The keyword is semantically here. The dangerous clause won't say you can't sue us. It will say all disputes shall be resolved through binding, let's say, arbitration, right? Same meaning, different words. Keyword search misses it all. Quadrant does not. Let's scroll down and see what we have here. Three packages. Qdrant client, as always, is a vector database. Sentence transformers handles the embeddings. Reach is for clean notebook output. So let's run this thing. It's installing it all. The model is all mini LM L6 V2, which I've already imported this all. Well, let me tell you, it turns any text into 384 dimensional vector, a mathematical fingerprint of its meaning. Two clauses that say different things but mean the same thing produce vectors that sit close together in that space. That's the entire foundation. Quadrant runs in memory as well if you want to, but here I will be using APIs and it's an endpoint URL. As you can see here, you can get yours from their website. Okay, and we create a risky underscore clauses collection. It's a name of the collection. Okay, don't get confused. It's the name of the collection, as you can see here, with cosine distance, which measures the angle between vectors regardless of text length. Switching to quadrant cloud later is your choice, but first you can start it locally. So let's run these cells before I show you the database. So this was done. This is also being loaded. Okay, this is also done. Then we'll run this cell. This will require your API key. As you can see, there you go. It's created. Okay. Then here, this is the heart of the system, you can say. 20 real entries across 8 risk categories: forced, arbitration, unilateral modification, data grabs, liability waivers, non-competers, IP ownership. Each entry has the clause, text, risk level, the category, a plain English translation, and a documented real world case. Now look at this thing, which is RC007, this clause particularly. By using this service, you grant us a perpetual, like all the license and distribute any content you submit. As you can see, plain English, right? Anything you upload belongs to them forever now. Do you understand what this means? Even after you delete your account. Real case, let's say freelancer performs claiming ownership of designers own portfolio work. That's what's hiding in the boilerplate. So let's run this thing and load it into the quadrant directly. Okay, this is done. Now come the indexing and I would say scanning part. Indexing is clean. Let's say we embed each clause, store the vector in quadrant, and let all the metadata, the plain English text, the case ride along as the payload. 20 clauses indexed. And then if we go down, I will show you one function which is scan underscore clauses. This is very important. This function embeds the input, fires a vector search, filters by similarity threshold, and returns matches. There is an optional category filter where Qdrant evaluates filter before the search, so it stays fast. Threshold logic is basically above 85% is a hard flag, and between 72 to 85 is a warning. Below that, we simply ignore. So let's run this cell. Let's see what it shows. It is saying that our risk scanner is ready, right? And if you haven't seen this, let's run this as well. As you can see, look. So we basically first stored our whole database, properly loaded that, then we embedded and indexed, and then what we did is we made our scanner ready. So let's dive into our test cases. The first one, as you can see, we may change, update or remove features of this platform at any time at our discretion. Continued use of the platform after any such changes shall constitute your consent to such changes. You might have never noticed this, but this is in every app you use. Almost like most of them, I would say. So let's run this and see if this is actually safe. Well, as you can see, no significant risk pattern detected. But the thing is, you can always make your scanner even stricter. Feed more examples. That is what we can do. And this is also part of a thing you can learn from here, right? And this thing, this clause, let's read it. It's basically a typical contractor clause. All disputes shall be finally settled by arbitration. Neither party shall have the right to litigate or to jury trial, right? As you can see, 80.3% of the similarity. I would say this is a critical match. See, this is also saying, right? If signed away your rights to sue, Uber drivers learned this trying to join a $1.9 billion class action. They couldn't because they had already agreed to individual arbitration during onboarding. Now let's get to our third case, which is basically any work, invention, software, creative work, output produced by the employee during the term of their employment. So shall be considered work for hire and shall be sole and exclusive property of the company. So they are basically taking your work, you can say. So let's see if this is critical or not. Again, critical. This is IP ownership type of is in the fault, right? So 68.9. Well, this is, I would say, is very critical thing. The number should have been higher. But as I've said, for this you can increase the example, feed more into the database, make your scanner even stricter. So the percentage will be will getting increased, right? So this is how you can also make your Qdrant even smarter, So this is also explaining to you what this means. Anything you build even at home on weekends with your own laptop belongs to your employer if they can argue it's in your field of work, right? So this is very critical. Now let's get to our fourth test case. I'll summarize it. Basically, we don't, let's say we don't want a scanner that cries wolf, right? A standard termination clause, 30-day notice, pay for completed work, deliver deliverables. Let's say. As you can see, nothing significant was found, nothing critical, right? So the threshold calibration is what makes this tool actually usable, right? You can anytime use this if you guys want to. I'll leave the link of this notebook in the description as always. Now for the contracts. Real contracts aren't single clauses. The full scanner splits a document by punctuation and paragraph breaks, scans each clause independently and sorts result by severity. So let me show you, run this thing. This is a sample contract. This is the like the flags which it has found in the summary, right? And there were like 5 flags, I would say, in our sample. Like this is the basically TOS of SaaS company. 1 is critical, 3 is high, 1 medium, the modification clause, the content license, the arbitration waiver, the liability clause, all in one document. All things you click I agree to so easily, as you can see. Look, risk is critical, 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 high, high. So this is very concerning. So yeah, legal risk lives in intent, not specific words. Binding arbitration and you can't sue us mean the same thing, right? The embedding model knows that, so you don't have to worry about it. Qdrant retrieves on it. We built a 20 clause knowledge base that scales 1,000 and a scanner that runs in milliseconds, and a plain English explanations backed by real precedents. To ship it, let's say, if you guys want to, like, if you guys want to use your own Qdrant cloud, you can use it, or you can use mine, but that will be no longer accessible, obviously. So yeah, you can use yours. The notebook link will be always in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one.